Our story begins with a murder, brutal and intimate. A wealthy man lies dead in his bed, a scene of twisted violence painted in blood. But this isn't just a crime, it's a message. Detective Nick is called in to unravel the mystery, but what he finds is far more dangerous than he could have imagined. A woman with secrets, a mind that plays games, and an allure that pulls him in despite his better judgment. This is a deadly dance of control, seduction, and manipulation. Once he's in, there may be no way out. I don't have many subscribers yet. Living alone makes it even harder when I put in so much effort, and no one subscribes. I'd be so grateful if you could subscribe and hit that bell icon right now. Please do. Now let's continue. Now it all starts with a brutal crime that shocks the city. The victim, a famous rock star, has been found tied to his bed, stabbed repeatedly. The violence feels personal, and the detectives are immediately suspicious that the killer knew him well. As they comb through the scene, Detective Nick notices something odd. Despite the savagery, the scene is devoid of any usable evidence. It's a meticulous crime, almost as if the killer planned every detail. Nick realizes this isn't just a murder, it's a performance. With no fingerprints and no forced entry, the detectives follow the only lead they have, the victim's girlfriend, Catherine. Catherine is more than just a suspect, she's a celebrated author, famous for her crime novels. And here's the chilling part, her latest book describes a murder eerily similar to this one. Catherine doesn't try to hide her connection to the victim. She admits they were close, but her tone is detached, almost as if she's discussing a character in one of her books. Nick feels a sense of foreboding. This isn't going to be a typical investigation. From their first conversation, it's clear Catherine isn't intimidated by Nick or the accusation. In fact, she seems amused, as if this is all part of her own narrative. She even brings up the plot of her novel, almost daring the detectives to make the connection. Nick is taken aback by her composure. This isn't how suspects usually behave. Catherine is clever, self-assured, and she knows exactly what she's doing. She taunts him, hinting that she's capable of anything while denying everything. Nick realizes he's not dealing with a typical criminal, he's up against someone who loves to play with the human mind. As days go by, Nick finds himself obsessing over Catherine. Her calm, collected demeanor, her unapologetic attitude, her intelligence, all of it draws him in. His colleagues warn him to keep his distance, but he can't. Catherine's allure is impossible to ignore. He finds himself replaying their conversations, her every word laced with subtle provocations and hints. He begins researching her past, uncovering a string of lovers who met violent ends, all described in her novels. Catherine's life mirrors her art, and Nick is desperate to understand where the fiction ends and reality begins. Catherine is relentless in her seduction, but it's not a typical romance. She manipulates Nick, keeping him close but always on edge. Her words are a mix of flirtation and provocation, designed to disarm him. She makes suggestive comments, lets him in just enough to feel connected, then pulls away. It's a game to her, and Nick is the unwitting player. He's drawn into her world, where reality and fantasy blur, and nothing is as it seems. He knows he's compromising his judgment, but he's powerless to resist her. As Nick falls deeper into Catherine's web, his personal life begins to crumble. His work suffers, his relationships strain, and his behavior becomes erratic. His colleagues start to notice, but Nick is too consumed by Catherine to care. Every time he tries to pull away, she draws him back in with a calculated glance, a cryptic comment. She has complete control, and Nick is slowly losing his grip on reality. The more he investigates, the more he questions his own sanity. Is Catherine orchestrating this, or is he just imagining things? Determined to find the truth, Nick digs into Catherine's past. He learns about her previous lovers, all of whom died under suspicious circumstances. Each case mirrors the plot of her novels, and each death remains unsolved. Nick confronts her, hoping to break her composure, but she only smiles, as if daring him to prove her guilt. Catherine is always one step ahead, twisting his accusations into flirtations, deflecting every question with unnerving ease. Nick realizes she's not just a suspect, she's an architect, crafting a narrative where he's merely another character. Despite everything, Nick can't resist Catherine. Their relationship grows, fraught with passion and danger. Catherine has him exactly where she wants him, emotionally compromised, obsessed, and willing to do anything for her. Every touch, every glance, is laced with threat and desire. Nick knows he's playing with fire, but he can't escape. Catherine's allure is too powerful, and he's too deep to pull back. She's the flame, and he's drawn to it, even if it destroys him. Catherine isn't just manipulating Nick, she's manipulating everyone around her. She knows exactly how to play people, how to keep them guessing. Her every move is calculated to leave just enough doubt. Even as the evidence piles up, she maintains her innocence, casting herself as the misunderstood genius, the victim of her own art. Nick starts to see through her facade, but he's too entangled to escape. Every time he tries to outsmart her, she pulls him back with a new twist, a new revelation. Nick is pushed to his breaking point. He knows Catherine is dangerous, but he can't bring himself to stop. He confronts her, demanding the truth, but Catherine only smirks, playing coy, shifting the blame. She's always in control, and Nick is forced to face the reality that he may never have the upper hand. The final confrontation is a battle of minds, a dangerous game of who can outlast the other. But Catherine has planned for this, and Nick is left questioning his own sanity. Was it all just a game? And if so, who really won? In the end, Nick is left with nothing but questions. He survived, but at what cost? Catherine has left her mark, a haunting reminder of the power of manipulation and the deadly allure of obsession. He's free, but he's changed, forever scarred by the woman who turned his life into a twisted story of passion and betrayal. And as he walks away, he can't help but wonder, was he ever truly in control, or was he just another character in her story?